Boxing truth here. And let's talk about this fight between Mikey Garcia and Sergey Lipinets. I'm actually very intrigued by the fight. I like the fight. Didn't expect this fight to get made. Didn't expect this fight to happen. But Lipinets is going to provide a true test on how good Mikey Garcia is at 140 pounds. He's going to provide a lot of answers on whether this is his true ceiling, on whether he could perhaps even move up another weight class. Is he good enough to defeat a young, hungry, motivated champion in Sergey Lipinets? Lipinets, he's been disrespected from the jump. Getting step-aside deals, getting disrespected by the IBF, getting slapped around by Top Rank, full damn well knowing that Terence Crawford had no intentions of ever defending his title against him. So he felt slighted by the IBF. He felt the IBF was wasting their time in granting the exemption for Ndongo, knowing full damn well that Crawford had no intentions of even defending his claim as undisputed junior welterweight champion. Lipinets would have been the best opponent, the best challenger Crawford would have had he decided to stay 140 pounds. However, he moved up to fight most likely Jeff Horn, and I'm not going to knock Terence Crawford for doing that. Bigger fight, bigger opportunity, more potential in the welterweight division in terms of finances. So I'm not going to knock Terence Crawford for doing that. But Lipinets should have got his shot a lot sooner than later. Should have challenged Ndongo since that undisputed title fight, and really didn't make sense since the winner was not going to stay around for much longer to campaign and defend all of his titles against the most worthy challenger, which was Lipinets at the time. But now he's world champion, coming off a tough fight against Kondo, a tough Japanese fighter who wouldn't lay down and showed tremendous toughness in taking the type of shots Lipinets dished out on him. This is going to be an entertaining battle. Both guys throw a lot of good punches, big punches. Both guys have good skill sets. Lipinets is an interesting guy. He's in terms of his background, where he came from, how he got to this point, I've been trying to figure out, how is this guy being fast-tracked to a world title? How is this guy, with only 13 fights, has the type of resume that he has? You may not know his opponents, but these guys are bringing in great records, great confidence, great momentum. This guy has been fighting world-rated opponents very early in his career. And he hasn't had any layups, any soft touches. He's been fighting hungry guys, climbing up the rankings, and now he's world champion by fighting the most highly rated available contender within the IBF. That's how he became champion. He fought eliminators, fought undefeated prospects, fought world title challengers. Was willing to fight Ndongo in less than 12 pro fights. Only has 13 pro fights to date. Did some research and found out for myself that I can see why this guy is being fast-tracked. This guy has over 500 amateur fights, pro and amateur, as a kickboxer. Was a world champion kickboxer. Also has 40 amateur fights as a boxer. So this guy has been fighting for a long time, knows the fight game. It's been a surprising transition how he has a lot of experience as a kickboxer, but yet he still is able to be successful as a professional prize fighter with the amount of limited amateur background in terms of boxing, not kickboxing, boxing, and how he's able to fight the experienced opponents he's been matched with very early in his professional career. It's an interesting fight. Mikey Garcia has a better pedigree in terms of amateur background, been to national tournaments, never made it to the international stage, but he has a more extensive amateur background. I would say he has better technique. He has more fundamentals with his stance, his counters. He's more sharper. But Lipinets is athletic. He's fat. He's got some decent speed. He's got very good power in his left hand, and he has a really good straight right hand. He can box from a distance. He can box going backwards. He's a versatile fighter. He can come forward as well. I've seen him match all different types of styles: aggressive fighters, movers, guys that play tag with you. He can handle those guys. So he can even handle the most difficult of styles. In this fight, who's gonna be the aggressor? Who's gonna be the pursuer? It's gonna be a fight where both guys are in the middle of the ring, testing each other's skills. There's not gonna be any size disadvantages here. There might be a physical strength disadvantage, since Mikey's moving up in weight and hasn't displayed great strength at 140 pounds. Lipinets is the bigger guy, definitely. He's the naturally bigger guy, naturally stronger. But Mikey might be the better technician. He might have the better technique. Yeah, he might have a more experience in terms of boxing. But it's an interesting fight. I don't count Lipinets out at all. I'm pretty sure he's going to be underdog, since he's the unknown commodity here, the unknown champion. And you can't knock Mikey Garcia for taking this fight. It's a fight that doesn't make sense, honestly, since the more significant fights for Mikey are in the lightweight division. But this is a much tougher fight than what an Omar Figueroa fight would have been, or a fight with Robert Easter Jr. for a lightweight unification. That would have been the most logical step for Mikey Garcia to take, to unify with a guy that's on his side, which is Robert Easter Jr. in a much easier fight, since Easter, I don't think, is as strong or as powerful, and doesn't have the type of whiskers, I don't believe, as Sergey Lipinets does. Lipinets in all his background in fighting and kickboxing and boxing, he's never been dropped, he's never been knocked down, he's never been knocked out. So it's going to be interesting to see if Mikey can show some firepower, show some real punching power in 140-pound weight class, which was lacking in his fight against Adrian Broner. A lot is on the line for Mikey Garcia. Bigger fights, bigger fish to fry. It remains to be seen if he's going to take those fights against the rivals in the lightweight division. He's making some excuses that Bob Arum is not going to allow Lomachenko to fight him, even though Bob Arum just matched him with a fighter outside of his stable. When is Mikey Garcia going to fight someone not involved with the PBC? But I do like this fight. I think it's a very competitive fight. It's a real fight. And Lipinets is not going to lay down, since he feels like a disrespected champion with what he has to go through, going through the Crawford and Dongo situation, being placed aside, getting put on hold, knowing full damn well Terrence Crawford was never going to fight him. So this is his chance to prove how good he is on a worldwide scale, live on Showtime, and to fight an American fighter that is being pushed as the perhaps next big star, a next super fighter, a guy that can jump up multiple divisions and hold titles simultaneously in different divisions. This is Lipinets' shot right here to upset the apple cart, and I'm very intrigued to see what the odds are in this fight. I don't see Mikey Garcia as being a heavy favorite. Maybe a significant favorite, but not a heavy favorite. I'm not sure that Lipinets has a style, but he has the tools. He's got the power. He's got some skills. Does he have enough experience, boxing experience? Can he outbox Mikey Garcia? That remains to be the question, but this fight's a little bit away. Still a lot of time before this fight occurs. Obviously, this was a business decision for Mikey. He's obviously getting paid a significant offer to fight Lipinets instead of splitting 50-50 of the proceeds with Linares. Perhaps Lipinets was cheaper compared to a Robert Easter unification in terms of paying the opponent, which is why Lipinets is the guy. But this is a respectable challenge for Mikey Garcia. This is a fight where he's going to answer some questions on his true legitimacy at 140 pounds in terms of how good he is at this weight. Is he potentially a next Manny Pacquiao that can jump up multiple divisions, become a 5-division champion? This is going to be his 4th attempt at a world title in a 4th weight class. And I see that as being his most significant opponent to date. Even though Lipinets is relatively unknown outside of boxing circles, Lipinets is, I would say, the strongest opponent of Mikey Garcia's career. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Mikey's next fight. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.